Hey everyone, I'm Anne. Welcome to the Let's Get Naked podcast, where we dive deep into vulnerability. In this space, we'll explore what triggers us, uncover the patterns holding us back, and discover how to take charge of our own growth. If you're ready to dig in, be vulnerable, and face the tough stuff, then buckle up. It's time to get naked. Today we're going to talk about excuses. Let's be real, they're like assholes. Everyone's got one, and they all stink. The only difference? At least assholes serve a biological purpose. Excuses, they're just hot air wrapped in self-pity. Excuses are the Febreze of failure. You spray them around to make things smell better, but underneath, it's still the same steaming pile of I didn't do the work. Here's the truth. What the hell is wrong with me today? Excuses are the number one dream killers. Not haters, not the government, not your ex, not your boss. Your excuses. Every time you tell yourself, I don't have time, or I'll start when things calm down, what you're really saying is, I'm not willing to be uncomfortable long enough to change my damn life. Excuses are sneaky. They disguise themselves as logic, responsibility, even self-care. I can't hit the gym, I'm too tired. No, you're tired because you didn't hit the gym. I can't start the business, I don't have money. No, you don't have money because you haven't started. Excuses flip the script on you, and suddenly you're defending the very thing that's keeping you stuck. And here's the worst part. Excuses age like milk. They rot your ambition. You might convince yourself they're valid today, but 5 years from now, you'll look back and realize those excuses built you a prison cell with walls made of regret. So here's the deal. Excuses are terrible for you. They clog your progress like cholesterol in an artery. They poison your potential like secondhand smoke. They're the flimsy duct tape holding together your comfort zone while your dreams suffocate outside the door. You want to boss up? You want to actually change your life? Stop sniffing your own excuses like they're roses. Recognize them for what they are, weak, smelly little lies, and drop them. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about the excuse. They only see the result. And either you've got it or you don't. Today, I'm stripping it all off with Jason Lamar. Jason is a motivational shit talker, and I absolutely love his work. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love the opening monologue, by the way.
Thank you. So I came across Jason's work on his content on social media a couple months ago, and if you haven't seen it, I highly, highly, highly recommend checking it out. It's going to bring up stuff for you. Either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it, and I suggest you get curious about either of those reactions, because that's exactly what it's meant to spark in people. I can see that in your eyes already, that's why you do the work. So let's talk about that. Tell me kind of a little bit about you and where you started and what makes you tick, and we'll kind of just dive in from there.
So where I started, I've done a lot of things over the course of my life, from legitimate to allegedly illegitimate, and it took me a while to find my footing because, as your monologue said, I spent a great deal of time making a lot of excuses for what it was that I was doing and why it was that I wasn't where I wanted to be, and none of it mattered. None of it meant anything. And it wasn't until I realized that I was able to kind of finally get myself moving in the direction that I wanted to be in, which led me down the path that I'm on currently. So definitely a lot of accountability there, which I think the vast majority of people are lacking.
I agree with that. I think accountability is hard, but I think it's the most rewarding thing that you can do.
Absolutely.
I watched a clip where you were talking to a lovely man with a mustache, and you were saying something about, accountability, and I just think if you don't get to that place, there's no pivot point. It's like that accountability that doesn't have to be like some big awakening, but it has to be I'm tired of the bullshit, right? And understanding that you're the one that weaves the bullshit. It's powerful.
Yeah, 1,000%. And people don't like it because, as you said, again, with the excuses and everything, it makes them feel better, and it feels good to blame everybody else for what it is that you have going on. Society is against me because of my skin color. My parents raised me bad, or my genetics suck, whatever the case may be. You can blame everything that you want into the world, but all you're doing is telling yourself that I don't have the power to get somewhere else because I didn't put myself here.
Yeah.
So when you accept that you are responsible for where it is that you are, you're also accepting the idea that you could get yourself to be somewhere else. And that's what I did. Like I spent, again, a very long time places I didn't want to be. I blamed everything else. And once I took a real objective and honest look and realized I've put myself in every unfavorable situation, this was based off of my choices. So I could make better choices. If I can make bad choices, I can make good choices.
Yeah. How long ago was that for you that you decided to take accountability, and what did that look like?
It wasn't like I don't have a specific date. This was kind of a thing stretched out over several years. Like I slowly started to piece these things together. Like in the earlier part of my life, I was hanging around people that I should not have been hanging around and doing things that I should not have been doing. And I realized that I didn't need to be doing that. The only reason that I was here is because I chosen to be here. So I stopped doing that. And then these are little realizations that I had over the course of several years that finally culminated in me realizing, oh, everything is my fault. Everything that I've done, everything good, everything bad is all on me.
Right. Well, and I think when you can do that, when you can say everything is my fault, regardless of whether it is your fault or not, right? For me, it's like I did have something that was a little bigger building on that, but just getting sober and realizing this mess, that this tornado of a fucking life that I'm pulling around behind me, 100% on me. 100% on me. And I wasn't even really a big excuses person before, but I was definitely like not really taking full accountability for all of the things, because all of those little choices that you make, all of those lead up to what kind of life you're going to live. People are like, oh, I have a shitty life. That person has a great life. Well, that person consistently showed up and made the hard choices over and over and over and over again. You know, they're not sitting on the couch binging TV, you know, wasting their lives away watching other people live their lives. They're out there doing their own thing. You can't, you know, look at those and compare. Which do you prefer? Which do you want? I'd rather live a life where I'm the TV show instead of going and watching shitty TV, because I guarantee you I can script it way better than anybody in Hollywood.
1000%. That's a great point that you made. Like, people get so invested in the lives of others, whether it be athletes or movie stars or music people or social media characters or whatever, and they're doing absolutely nothing with their own lives. But once you get to the point that you realize you can be that same main character that those people are to you.
Yes.
And once you accept, again, that you are the reason that you are not that, and you accept the accountability for your life. At the end of the day, it doesn't even really truly matter if it's your fault. Maybe you had a terrible childhood and your parents beat you. Is that functionally your fault? Probably not. But the most helpful thing is to decide that it is, so you can decide, how can I avoid these things? How can I move forward? And how can I use this to my advantage?
Yeah. Well, and also I look back at all the fucked up things that happened to me as a kid, and it's like, I'm happy those did happen to me. Those are the things that it's like, do you want to be great in life? What are you going to sharpen your fucking tools on? What are you going to look and say, like, I fucking made it through every one of those hard things. If you never went through anything that's hard, what does that look like? You know?
Well, that's a great point. I say all the time, pain tolerance is built through pain exposure. Like, if you look at, even if you take a look at a workout, right? You go down, you break down your muscles, and they grow back stronger. It's the same thing. So the worse your childhood was, the better building blocks you've been given for the remainder of your life. Like, if you look at Batman, his superpower is trauma. He watched his parents get murdered, and he turned that into his whole Batman vigilante and whatnot. Sure. And people talk about privilege all of the time. If you've only ever had a good life where you've been given everything that you want, you're going to be a very weak person because you haven't had anything to strengthen you. Without adversity, you can't become stronger.
Right. It's true. So I think if people did understand that, like, taking accountability for whatever your past has been and owning that shit and working through it, and then turning that into whatever life it is that you want to live, you can do that. Don't be fucking sad about a bunch of shit that happened to you. Like, be happy, be grateful that that stuff happened so that you can work through all of that shit. No matter how you work through it as you are doing it, you can, unpack all of it now and realize the lessons that were meant to come from all of those different experiences.
Yeah, there's a lesson in everything that happens to you, but most people are too busy crying about it to find what it is. And they're just, boo-hoo, I deserved better, I deserve this, I deserve that. Sure. At the end of the day, no, you didn't. Right. You deserve exactly what it is that you got, and that's why you got it. Right. And that comes back to the accountability thing, where you could sit there and say, all these bad things I earned. You could start doing things in the opposite direction, start earning the good things, and put yourself in a position where you truly do deserve them, not just, oh, I'm entitled and I want these amazing things because I exist and it will make me happy. Yeah. No one cares about that.
No one cares. You know, I encourage the listeners at home, if this is making you feel defensive, Excellent. Lean into that. Get very curious about that, because I think so many people bump into something that's uncomfortable and then run the other way. And it's like, no, 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 no. That's where the awesome sauce lives, on the other side of that, uncomfortable. Get curious about why that makes you feel that way. You have the power to fucking change it, I tell my daughters all the time, excuses. It's like, don't tell me excuses. Not for me. Don't tell me excuses for you. They're bad for your soul. And if you actually got curious about, why does that make me feel a certain type of way? Think about when you do make an excuse. It feels like slime. Like it makes you feel gross. My husband and I talk about if we're even having a conversation in our head about going to the gym. And the second I start negotiating with myself about it, I fucking shut it down and go anyways, because that's exactly what we're supposed to do. I can feel that coming in. People that are disciplined, it isn't like you don't have that shitty voice inside of you that's like, oh, I don't want to today. It's knowing that you love and respect yourself enough to fucking do the hard thing anyways. Because if you do let yourself off of the hook, then don't be surprised when you don't have the results that you want. It's like that discipline is necessary to get there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the key to having anything that you want in life, truly, is being able to do things that you don't want to do. I remember when I first started working out, I would see all the other people in the gym. They looked like they were having a great time and they loved it. And I wondered, when am I going to get to the point that I love all of my workouts? And 10, 12, 15 years later, I realized that's never going to happen. Yeah. Like every single morning, my alarm clock goes off and I'm mad that I'm awake and I'm mad that I have to get up. And I walk down my stairs mad and I do push-ups mad that I have to. I don't want to do any of it. I don't want to go to the gym, and I still go to the gym. I don't want to eat half of the food that I eat, and I eat it. I want to eat other stuff, and I don't because I'm not supposed to. I don't feel like working, but I work anyway, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. If you're not going to do the things that you don't want to do, you're going to wind up with a life that you don't want to have. So while I might not enjoy all of my individual moments, when I lay down at the end of the day, I get to look back on my day with pride and say, oh, I accomplished every single thing that I set out to do. And that feeling of accomplishment is much better than any of the little individual feelings of, ooh, this is fun in the moment that I would have gotten throughout the day. Yeah.
No, it's wild that people think discipline is, like someone's either disciplined or they're not. And it just doesn't work like that. Like, you're a regular guy, just like everybody else, right? All of these people that you look at that are super disciplined, and, like you said, people in the gym where you're like, oh, when am I going to love that? They're going through shit too. They probably don't want to fucking be there either. But when you change your mindset of like, I get to go work out instead of I have to, right? Because if you ask people that maybe didn't have enough money for a gym membership, or maybe, have a disability that has them where they can't do that, they would fucking love to work out. Be grateful for what it is that you have. Own your shit.
Yeah, like no matter how bad of a situation that you were in, there is somebody who would kill to switch places with you. Like you don't feel like working out. That's amazing. There is somebody who was born with no limbs who would give everything to be able to go do a push-up, and you're crying about it because it doesn't feel good right now. Like all of that is ridiculous. I guess the entitlement stuff. I need to feel good all of the time, and people tell me they struggle with being disciplined. I said, no shit, you're supposed to. Right. That's the point. It's supposed to be difficult. Right. That means you're doing it right. It's never going to feel good. If it felt good, then it would just be everything that everyone else does. You'd be sitting around playing video games all day. And what does that get you? Broke.
Right. Well, and also, like, you surround yourself with other people that are doing the same things that you are. So if you want to be in a place that has more discipline, people that are going to the gym, stop hanging out with the people that are sitting on the couch getting high, doing video games. Where do you think you're going to get to if that's what you surround yourself with? Did you have a time where you found yourself like having to kind of change friends and lean into people that were more working on themselves? That was the whole thing, I'm assuming?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I first decided that I was going to get my life on some sort of track, I didn't know what that track was going to be. I just knew I didn't want to be where it was that I was at currently. And I knew that I can't keep hanging around these people that I'm hanging around. They smoke, they participate in activities that I don't want to be participating in, and I know that if I'm around them, I'm going to continue doing that. Because that's how it works. What did I say? You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and people rub off on you. Like if you don't play video games and all of your friends play video games, eventually you're going to pick up a controller and start playing video games. It's the same thing for whatever, negative and or positive. If all of your friends are drug addicts, eventually you're going to smoke some crack. If all your friends go to the gym, eventually you will go as well.
Yeah. And being able to take a real close look at that and see, are those people that I'm spending time with people that I actually find value in, and are they going in directions that I want to?
Yeah, most people don't truly have friends, just people that they've known for a very long time. And that's a big difference. And they think, well, I've known this person since I was a kid. Okay, amazing. Who cares?
Yeah.
Where have they gotten you?
Yeah. Well, I look back to it when I was drinking a bunch and partying and doing all those things. Those are not people that are ride or dies for you. You know, those are people that are commiserating and triaging their own shitty lives, their own mediocre lives on the weekends, you know, causing enough trouble where it's causing their own suffering. And then during the week, you're back to trying to do damage control for whatever it was that you did when you were out, you know, drinking and whatever. That's a hamster wheel. Get the fuck off of it.
Yeah, they just want people to fail with them because they know deep down they're not living their life right. And they want other people to do that as well. So it validates their mediocrity. And it's as soon as if you think those are your friends, go stop drinking and see what they say. Go start working out and see what they say. Stop going out because you want to start working on a business and see what they say. And it will not be any form of support. It's, oh, you've changed, or, oh, I miss the old you, or you used to be fun, or you're too hard on yourself, something like that. Anything to talk you out of bettering yourself so they don't feel bad about the fact that they're not.
Yeah. How long ago did you start doing the motivational shit talking online? Because again, I really appreciate your brand of direct. I think a lot of us need that.
I've only been on social media period for a little bit over 2 years now. So my very first post on Instagram was my very first video. So it was end of summer 2023.
Okay.
It's a relatively new thing for me.
Okay. And are you loving doing it? Is it like, tell me about what that looks like, or do you just feel obligated to do it? Like,
it's a combination. Like I enjoy doing it. Sometimes I do it because I'm supposed to do it and it's what I said I was going to do. So now I have to keep on doing it. But I enjoy doing it as a whole, and I like making a positive impact in people's lives and doing stuff, again, like this, sitting down, talking to people. This is all amazing and stuff that before I was doing, I always thought about, like I would see podcasts or see interviews and I would think in my head, well, what if I was on a podcast or interview, or what would I do? What would I say in this position? And I never thought that it was something that I would ever actually be able to do. Yeah. And then I realized, oh, you can, because everyone else just starts doing stuff. So if you start doing stuff, this will happen. Yeah. So it was a thing I always wanted to do. So yes, I do enjoy doing it.
That's awesome.
But social media as a whole is very odd to me.
I agree. My gal Casey and I were exploring some different things that I don't have a background in this. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm like, am I hashtagging now? Am I not? I posted something. She posted the same thing. Like I don't fucking know what's happening. So we try to leave it to the professionals, but we do have fun with it. It doesn't feel like it's natural at all, but it is a good time. So, what was I going to ask you? What is the goal that you're going towards? Or are you just more of a living in the day, making today amazing? Like, what does that look like for you?
I am a big believer in focusing on what it is that I can control. And because of that, I'm not like this is my end goal of this process. I more so focus on the process, and this is what I'm going to do today. And that's going to lead me where it's going to lead me. I can't control that as much as just, walking the path.
Yeah. Agreed. I think that's excellent. Do you, may I ask if you have a higher power and what that looks like for you?
Yeah. So I've never been like a person who I know that everyone loves labels and titles and putting everything in their little boxes and whatnot. Do I believe in a higher power? Yes. Have I decided to give that some form of name? No. So do I believe in the universe? Do I believe in God? Yes. You could say yes to both. You could say no to both. But I do believe in a higher power as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody has the one that resonates with them. I find it interesting because I think a lot of people use their higher power as an excuse.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I was asking that question, because it's like excuses come in all forms. And when you find people that give themselves a pass because they think God gave them a pass, it's like, I don't think that's what he meant, I used to have this brother-in-law who always used to say, well, God will provide. And I'm like, yeah, but God helps those that help themselves. Like, I'm not into the Bible and organized religion and shit, but they very much were. And they were the type of people that would just really use excuses based on, like, shrouded in religion. And, he would want the best for you. He would want all these. He's going to bring, I'm like, Jesus doesn't bring the pork chops unless you go out and fucking earn them, boss. That's how that works. I think a lot of people have a really hard time being real with themselves.
So I said somewhat recently, I don't know when, I said prayer is action. And a bunch of people got mad. But from my perspective, if you believe that praying will give you what it is that you want, And you see people all of the time who find out they have cancer and they pray to get better and they still die. Yeah. You see people who find out they're going to lose their house and they pray for it to not happen and they still get kicked out because they didn't actually do anything. Yes. On the other end of the spectrum, you see people, some people will find out they're going to lose their house, go out and do a bunch of stuff, and then they get money and are able to save their house. Some people decide they want to get in shape and they pray to lose weight and nothing happens because they don't change anything. On the other end, people want to get in shape and they start going to the gym and then they get in the exact shape that they wanted to get into. It's taking action that gets you what it is that you want. So if you believe that praying will get you what you want, that by extension, you would also have to believe that taking action will get you what you want, which means that you would also have to believe that taking action is praying. Yeah. And that is what that means. And even, again, I'm not a Bible person myself either, but I do know that in the Bible, it says, well, faith without works is dead. There's a bunch of passages that say if you do, you need to do things. You can't just believe in stuff. You have to do it. Yeah. But people don't want to go past that because they like the idea of the passiveness of believing. If I sit there at night and cross my hands and ask Jesus for all kinds of stuff, then I'll get it. And that sounds amazing to them. And then they could comfort themselves and say, well, it wasn't God's will that I have it yet when they don't get it, to make up for the fact that they didn't go out and do any fucking thing.
Sure, exactly. You know, I've spent a lot of time in my life really, and I didn't even realize, you know, you hear different words thrown around, manifesting and whatever. I've spent a lot of my life feeling into what that next level would feel like and then walking into it because I'm willing to put the actions behind it. You know, I was just a one of 5 kids in South Dakota to super poor parents, right? I have fucking crushed it in this lifetime by any measure of success that you have. And that's not a flex. That's just to say you can do anything. Like there's no, oh, well, I didn't have this good start or I didn't have that. We were on going and getting food boxes from the food bank kind of shit. Like my dad, I didn't see my dad because he was working, you know, job after job. And at one point, like delivering newspapers in the morning, you know, stocking shelves at Target at night, like whatever it took to put food on the table after we moved to Colorado. There's no like, oh, I didn't have whatever. No, I can give you a whole fucking list of reasons why I should not be successful. If you want it and you're willing to do the work to get it, you can have whatever you want. You know, and being able to like really feel into what the emotion of that feels like, feel into what would it feel like if, and then whatever your next level is, whatever your next dream is, act like it's already here. You know, walk like it's already here and then be willing to put the work in to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of people, I see people talk about this stuff like job wise, right? Like they want a promotion, they want to make more money, but they don't want to do extra work until they get the promotion. And no one's going to give you more responsibility until you prove that you can handle more responsibility. You have to do things long before you get things. Like if you want to look like a bodybuilder, you have to work out and eat and sleep like a bodybuilder long before you ever look like one. Right. So you need to act exactly what you said, act how you want to be, and then you will become that thing. That's how it works. But people think that they want to act where it is that they are in their current station, which is why they stay there. You're never going to become rich if you're always acting poor. Right. But if you act rich, even when you're poor, eventually you will be. Yeah. That's how things work.
It is, and people don't realize like where you put that energy, you know, where you put your attention is where your energy goes. So if you're going to sit and say like, oh, I don't have all of these things, look at all this excuses, look at all of this negativity, you're staying there, boss.
Forever.
Forever. I love it. Forever, Jason says.
That's what you're going to do. And you just surround yourself with negativity and excuses and doubt, and that's just your whole world now. So you see people all of the time. You can give somebody a blueprint to do everything they want to do with their life, and they will look at it and say, well, that's not going to work because of X, Y, Z. They will find problems with solutions and then wonder why they can't get anywhere, because that's what you're looking for. There's paths everywhere, but if you're not looking for a path, you're never going to see it, no matter how directly in front of your face it is. Yeah. I believe that people are either inherently negative, where they are coming from a place of excuses and always just looking for that, always looking for an excuse, always looking for a reason why you can't. Or you're inherently positive, which doesn't mean that your circumstances are any different, but you're looking for, you know, coming from a place of gratitude, looking for solutions. How am I able to get out of this? Because if you're spending all of your energy making excuses about why you're not, that same fucking energy can get spent on how are we going to advance ourselves? How am I going to figure my way out of this? You know, it was like, I barely graduated high school, moved down to Arizona, and it was like, okay, what is the job that's going to give me the most bang for my buck? Okay, what's the next job? And it was always like, what's the next job above the job that I'm doing right now? I want that guy's job. I want that guy's job. And I worked my way up in construction to the point where it was like, all right, I'm going to start my own fucking business, you know, and being able to do that. Did I know what the hell I was doing?
Not a chance. Am I afraid to fail? No, because it's like, that's how you learn. So now we have all of these people who are so afraid to look cringy or, fail at something or whatever. It's like, get up there and swing for the fence every time. Who gives a fuck what other people think? You're all going to sit on the sidelines and fucking watch and make excuses and make comments on people when you're not willing to get in the arena? Fuck off.
That's what people love to do, though. And what the people who are scared of being judged for failing don't realize is that the only people who are going to judge them for that are the people who have never done anything themselves, because they're the only ones who don't understand that the path to success is paved with failure. The only true way to fail is to quit and or not try. So when you're trying, you don't do anything because you want to avoid failure. You're making yourself a failure, which is the ironic thing. But they don't realize that because, once again, they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to do any of this other nonsense, even though it's only losers judging them.
Right, exactly.
Which is ridiculous.
It is. And I look at, it's funny because, as I've gotten into the helping a little bit with the social media stuff, I'm like, you can absolutely see the different people, right? It's either somebody that's coming with a positivity and a like, yes, king, fucking, you're hitting with this is excellent content or whatever, or the people that are there with like, you can just feel the excuses coming out of them. I'm like, fucking cut it out. Cut it out. If it's not your jam, go on to the next thing. Move on to the next thing, right? Do you get a bunch of that with your, I'm scared to know what you get as responses to yours, and you've just got to feed on that. Tell me you do.
I love it.
Yeah, fuck haters. That's excellent.
I don't care. People have things to say, and when I first got started, I thought maybe it would bother me or something, but the first couple negative comments that I got, I would click on the profile, I'd be like, oh, of course you don't like that I said this. Oh, of course you don't like that I said this. Right. It's never anybody who is doing anything worthwhile who has anything to say. And it's just like, I'll say something. Yes, I understand I say stuff abrasively. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you that you could better your life regardless of what your situation is. Nobody cares about your skin color or your sexual orientation or whatever the case may be. Sure. And if you can't accept that, what you're doing is fighting for the fact that you're going to be a loser forever. Yes. And if that's your battle, then by all means, have at it. You're free to win that. Yeah, no, for sure. What's your least favorite excuse? What's the one that really grates your nerves? Oh, my least favorite excuse. Okay. I don't have a specific excuse, but what I do have is everyone will understand and acknowledge that excuses do not matter, but they think that their excuse is the exception. They think that their childhood was the worst one. They think that their genetics were the worst, or their addiction is more justified and worse than everybody else's. And that's what bothers me, is when people are willing to acknowledge up to a certain point that, no, you shouldn't be making excuses. Accept me and accept mine because I'm special and I'm unique and I have my excuses are better and they matter more. Yeah. That bothers me. Yeah, because where's the comparison? It's like, who gives a shit? Where's the comparison between somebody who was raised super poor, or somebody whose dad kicked the shit out of him, or some girl who's sexually assaulted, or all of the things? It doesn't matter. We all have something to work through. Fucking get through it. You can't rank these things, A, because level of badness is subjective, and B, no matter what it is, it's not happening currently. So who cares? Right. This is no different to me than if you had a bad nightmare last week and you spend the remainder of your life crying about it. That's not real. It's not happening. For all intents and purposes, the past is not much different once it ends. Yeah. It only exists in your brain. You have something on your questionnaire that I loved. It says, I've long since stopped assigning things a level of difficulty. Things aren't easy or hard. They just are. Yes. One of the things that I say a lot is people don't realize, you have people that maybe are fat that look at skinny people and say, well, they don't understand. They don't have it hard. And it's like, going to the gym and keeping yourself in shape is hard. Also, living in a body that doesn't keep up with you because it's a size that isn't, fit into things, that prevents you from running after your kids or doing all the things, also hard. Being poor, hard. Having to kill yourself to fucking make money and be successful, also hard. You get to pick your fucking hard, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, it's all the same shit. You get to choose. So you don't get to control, like, people think you have control over all of these things. You have no control over any of that. But what you do have control over is these choices that you make that either set you up for success or leave you in a place where you have no accountability and you're just making excuses for a mediocre life. Yeah, so despite what people say, there is no such thing as an easy life. The choice is really just, when is it difficult? Is it difficult now, or is it difficult later? Like, do you go to the gym? That's the hard thing now, but later you feel good, later you look good. You could skip the gym now and you could go to McDonald's. That's easy, sure, and that tastes good, but later you're going to look like shit and feel like shit. So it's just, when do you want the difficulty to occur? But the reason I said that is people go through, isn't it hard to work out every day? Isn't it hard to work all day? Isn't it hard to get up early? Maybe, I don't know. Why do I need to think about these things as a whole? Like, why am I overcomplicating what it is that I'm going to do? Because I'm going to wake up at 3:53 when my alarm goes off. Do I want to do it? Who cares? I'm going to do it. So why are you putting all this extra shit on it? Like people say with the diet. Do you want to lose weight? Yes or no? A diet is hard. Maybe, but why are you thinking about that? It doesn't change what you need to do, so just do it. Stop adding all these extra layers to it.
That's actually really excellent advice, because if you think about just the energy that it takes to even have that inner dialogue, it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter.
Is the inside of your head pretty quiet, or do you have a lot of chatter in there?
I'm always thinking about something.
Yeah, but not like chatter that tries to, I think a lot of people have a lot of chatter where it's like telling them they're not good enough. The excuse is shit. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? And it's not actually them. People think that mind is them, and it's not. And I just don't think they realize that you can shut that guy up.
Yeah, absolutely. But your dominant thoughts are what you've trained them to be, right? So if you spend years all of the time talking negatively to yourself, of course your first thoughts are negative, and of course what's just bouncing around in your head is a bunch of negativity. But you can do the opposite. You spend all of this time talking positive to yourself and affirming yourself and what it is that you're doing. Eventually those become your dominant thoughts. Like, I used to be a very negative person. I used to be very pessimistic. And my mother would always tell me, stop being negative. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. What I think doesn't matter, because things just happen regardless. And then at some point I came to the realization that she was right. I don't remember how. But then I decided, well, I'm only going to think positive things ever, no matter what. Doesn't matter. My tire gets flat, amazing. I'm psyched about this. If I wake up today and I'm sick, that's great. Yeah. Everything's amazing. And all of my thoughts are happy and amazing for the most part. Again, sometimes I wake up, I feel like shit, but those thoughts leave my mind and get replaced with positive ones, because that's what I've made my dominant thoughts.
And I'm assuming you felt like that was a huge shift in just who you are as a person when you started.
The entirety of my life became different when I started looking at stuff positively. And I stopped telling myself I had bad luck. I stopped saying, oh, poor me, this didn't happen. I stopped saying I squandered all of my opportunities, and everything changed. Yes. My whole life was different.
You know, I want to really point this out to the listeners, because this is a huge bullet point. You changed everything from how you talk to yourself, from negative to positive. And I know, because I've had the same experience, that when you first start doing that, you feel like you're selling yourself a lie, because it doesn't feel natural at all. You're looking in the mirror saying, yes, king, but you're like, fuck, yesterday I was going, you piece of shit, you know? So it takes a while for you to really like get some traction with that. But when you actually do start getting traction with that, it changes everything. It literally fucking changes everything. I went from a person who hated Mondays because it was like, oh, son of a bitch, to I had this like whole just come to Jesus with myself of, you know what? I'm going to make Mondays my bitch. And now Mondays are my absolute favorite day of the fucking week. If I said, oh, I'm not good with people's names, I used to give myself a pass. And I didn't realize, like, it wasn't like I'm not good with people's names, so then what am I going to do about it, right? Okay, Google on fucking line what some tips are to be better about remembering people's names, and then also change the words that come with that to, I'm working on being better with somebody, with people's names, or using positive affirmations towards yourself around whatever that is. My husband and I have done, we call them pimping projects. They're personal improvement projects. And so it's like, oh, I'm pimping on that one, and whatever it is, you should always have shit on yourself that you're working on. I think people don't realize it's like they go to their jobs and give the best of themselves to their shitty jobs that they're not happy about, and then they come home and they triage their mediocre lives with fucking booze or TV or food or whatever to just numb out, right? Where is the time in there about developing yourself or figuring out who you are or working through any of your shit?
So I think that no matter what people do, everyone spends their entire life building and working on themselves. Most people just do it in the complete wrong direction. So you go home, you watch a bunch of Netflix and social media and get drunk and get high, and you're just tearing yourself down every single day rather than building yourself up. But no, you're not really taught when you're young, that you need to work on yourself in the same way that you need to work on your math homework or your history project or whatever it is that you're doing at work. Like they give you the essay and you're supposed to do this, but no one ever tells you that you should be putting the same level of effort into developing who you are as a person, your own character traits, your own personality, and all of these things. And I think that's why most people never wind up getting anywhere.
Yeah. How do we, I was thinking about this because I think we have this whole system inside of ourselves with emotions and shit that we should really learn. We should have a better understanding of. Parents aren't teaching that. They don't fucking know. We don't teach that in schools. And then we wonder why we have a world in the condition that it's in. It's like we taught all of our young boys to don't be pussies, don't deal with your emotions, don't like all of that stuff. And then we wonder why we have just anger and rage outbursts out in the world. It's like, let's all figure out the shit that's inside of us that we can learn how to navigate rather than just everyone pushing it under the rug. No one talks about shit, no one accountability for anything, making excuses. I just think that's outrageous.
Well, again, from the time that we're young and kids, we're not really set up to be anything successful, just cogs in a machine. And people who are able to think for themselves and be the best version of themselves might not participate in a lot of what society wants them to participate in.
Yeah.
Because they know better and they think, I could be off doing better stuff than this, but they don't want you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what your childhood looked like. Do you have siblings, parents? Obviously you have parents, but do you have parents, Jason? That would be weird. But like, what did that look like for you?
So, yeah, I had both parents. I didn't see my dad a great deal because he was off working all of the time. So not for anything, he was off fucking around or whatever. But I would see him like once every 3 weeks or so because he'd travel for work and all of that shit. I have a younger sister. I had good parents. I just made poor choices personally. So I know a lot of people like to use the excuse of, I didn't have good parents. It doesn't matter. I did, and I still went down my own path of doing dumb shit.
Sure. Did you get in a lot of trouble in high school, I'm assuming?
I did get in a lot of trouble in high school. I barely graduated high school
I love
myself.
That. You're my
I got kicked out of my first high school. And then in my second high school, I barely graduated. I scraped by.
Yeah.
I did not go to college.
Yeah. No, it's those with the biggest scars are my people. It's like everyone's so like, I did this and I have these degrees and I whatever. I'm like, I fucking barely graduated high school. I have a fucking F in parenting and somehow the big guy still gave me 3 kids. So I don't fucking understand it. But yeah, you're scrappy, right? Like when you go through shit like that in life and you're willing to take accountability and all of the things, you're scrappy. Like you come out on this side and it's like, what is it that you can't do? You could do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand. When you have to make your own way, you develop the skill of being able to make your own way. But people just, again, they want to be given the path and have their college paid for and a job given to them and money from their parents and all of this. It's like, you're going to be weak. You're going to be a loser for the entirety of your life. You're a little trust fund kid who has no skills or isn't able to do anything because you never had to develop that.
Right.
You never had to figure out how to make something work.
Sharpen your tools on stuff, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What on your questionnaire also, you have mental health in quotations, and I'm dying to have you say more about that. Tell me what that looks like for you.
It depends on what direction that you would like to go in it as a whole.
Jason, what direction would you like to go?
Whichever direction everyone would like me to. Whatever floats everyone's boat.
Just tell me what that means to you, because I know that you have a viewpoint on, you tell me what your viewpoint is. Why don't you start there? I won't even put words in your mouth.
So we're going to keep it then on the theme of excuses.
Okay.
And I think that is one of the biggest excuses that people have nowadays, because people are pitched the idea that if you're sad, it's because your brain doesn't work right.
Yeah.
Or if you can't focus, it's because your brain doesn't work right. And again, as we talked about before, they remove the accountability of maybe you're sad, maybe you're depressed because you do depressing shit. Maybe you're depressed because you can't pay your bills and no one wants to go on a date with you because you can't hold a conversation and you look like shit because you never go to the gym and all you do is eat terrible food all day, and you're 37 years old and you're still crying about the time that you were 15. Of course you're depressed. That's depressing. Why would you feel any other way?
I love it so much.
This is the thing. Well, again, like I said at the beginning, you earned that shit. You earned your depression. You earned your anxiety. You earned all of these things. You even earned being traumatized because, again, you can't control what it is that you've experienced. So you can't maybe control experiencing trauma. But the fact that you're still dwelling on it and crying about it is the reason that you're traumatized. And that's no one's fault but your fucking own.
That's true. Do you feel like we're in a place where we prescribe medicines way too quickly for things? Like, what is that? Do you have an opinion on that you'd like to share?
I have several opinions.
Okay, good. Oh, I love it.
So personally, I am a big believer, however it sounds, I'm a big believer that the reason that depression and anxiety are called disorders is specifically so they can perma-medicate people. Because from my perspective, if I'm a pharmaceutical company and my job is to sell everybody drugs, right? Like, I can't convince everyone that they have a cold, but I can convince you that if you're sad, you're sick, and now you need these drugs. And I think that people take it because they want an easy way out of everything. They don't want to earn their happiness. They just want to be bestowed happiness. In the same way that they don't want to earn their money, they just want to be bestowed riches. So that's why it's attractive to these people. They're like, well, I'm sad today, and if I take these drugs, I'll be happy, and then I don't have to do anything. I'll just get to feel happy because I deserve to feel happy because I'm a human, and it's my right somehow.
Yeah, I'm so nervous about all of that stuff because I just feel like we're a bunch of zombies. The more we lean into that, the more it's like, oh, take this pill, and then we're going to take that pill, and we're going to take that pill. It's like nobody's looking at the root fucking cause of stuff. Go to the gym, fucking get outside and get some sunshine on your face. I mean, there's some pretty easy things. Go fucking connect, sit in a park and just be in the fucking grass. Turn your devices off and not have your screens in your face, 24/7. That'll fix anxiety by a ton, right? Like, are you anxious? No shit.
So with the anxiety thing, right? Like, people it's anxiety, you're stressed about future things that may occur or whatever. And I'm a big believer that this is a result of incompetence. If you were better at things, then you wouldn't need to worry about this type of stuff. You wouldn't worry about events that are coming up because you'd be able to handle them. So this is a big indicator from whatever it is that you would like to call it, your subconscious, God, the universe, whatever the case may be. Say, hey, work on this, and then you won't be stressed out about this happening. But again, people don't want to do that. There's like, I have bad feeling and I want bad feeling to go away, so I take drugs and now I feel okay. And that's missing out the whole entire point. Like, you're shortchanging yourself. It's the reason you're afraid of something. You don't want to just not be afraid of stuff, because then you're stupid and you do stupid shit. Like, fear is to help you. It's a survival thing. Right. Same thing with the anxiety. Same thing with the depression. Hey, you're living your life wrong. Here's a thing that you could focus on. Here's a thing that you can get better. You feel like you're not good enough. Well, you're probably not. Work on that. Right. You feel like you're a burden. It's probably because you are. Work on that.
Yeah. How do you encourage people that maybe are listening that say, I want to be accountable, right? Maybe they've noticed that they are making excuses, or they're really resonating with that type of person. What do you have to say about, like, what you can do to just even take one step towards accountability, or towards, opening your eyes a little bit?
So people have, again, kind of like with the excuses, they have blinders with the accountability, where they want to sit there and say, I can acknowledge some things as my fault, but then they have a section that they won't go past. So whatever it is that you think is not your fault, whatever you think is the exception, if you think something's happening because you're black, or you're a woman, or your childhood was sad, or whatever, take accountability for that and figure out why that's your fault. If you think that no one is hiring you because you're black, A, that's probably stupid, but B, take an actual look and think, what could the other reasons be that no one is hiring me? What is the other reasons that I don't have a girlfriend other than the fact that I'm short or something like that? Take an actual look at the thing that you don't want to take accountability for, because everybody has that thing.
Yeah. What, when you talk about, okay, I didn't get that job because I'm black or whatever. Are you popular in the black community, or not so much with the way that you speak?
Sometimes. It's split.
Okay.
It's split. So there is a large subsect of the black community that has based the experience of being black on also being a victim. And if you do not identify with victimhood, then to them, you are not black enough, you are a sellout, you are a coon, whatever the case may be. And I find all of this ironic, because I will sit here and say, white supremacy is not the reason that you are not where it is that you want to be. And then they will get mad at me and tell me that I'm a sellout while effectively telling me that the white man is all powerful and until they get their permission, they can't actually do anything. So like, who's the real sellout here?
Right, who's granting the permission also? Like, fucking go take what you want.
This is what I'm saying. You can, because you could find, in order for you to believe this, you also then have to take every black person's achievement away and say they didn't truly earn it. You're saying that every black person who accomplished something was given stuff by white people, which makes you exactly what it is that you're calling me, ironically. But they can't see past that because their entire identity is based in victimhood.
Yeah. It's wild to me to watch when you see people that are based in victimhood, whether it's a race thing or any other demographic, it doesn't matter. When you come from that place, there's no power in being the victim, you know? And so it's like, look at yourself, take a really good look. I mean, I think savage self-awareness is so incredibly important to be able to say, like, no, I'm really going to fucking look in the mirror on this. Where am I making excuses for myself? Where am I letting myself off the hook? Where am I not willing to do the work and the hard thing? Because, you know, those that have whatever the stuff is, whatever the things are that you're going for, generally speaking, those people worked really hard to get that. Yes, there are exceptions where people were handed stuff, and I totally understand that. But a lot of it isn't materialistic stuff. It's, I'm looking for freedom in my life. What does that look like? That doesn't have to necessarily have anything to do with money. How am I going to get that? And where am I blocking myself? Where am I making excuses for things? And so I just think, you know, that whole thing kind of wraps up into you have to be willing to look at yourself from a self-awareness perspective of what can I do? Because if it was a whole thing where, okay, this is all against race, this is all against color, this is, all against sex, women or men or whatever, then tell me then about the exceptions of the people that do get through. What does that look like?
See, that's the thing, because you could take a look in any avenue. There are black, Mexican, Asian, gay, trans, whatever successful people who have made millions of dollars. There are short people, bald people, fat people, ugly people who have great relationships with beautiful partners. Why are they the exception? And if they can do it, why can you not do it? But people don't want to accept that because, again, that means that they have to do some sort of work for all of this stuff. But exactly what you said, it's the taking a look at yourself. And I think a very hard pill for most people to swallow is that where you are is a result of who you are. The things that you have is because of who it is that you are as a person. So if you look at somebody who's in shape, this person has muscles, this person has abs, that's a result of who they are. And if someone has money, that's a result of who it is that they are. Even if you want to say someone was given money, okay, that's fine. But people win the lottery. People win $300-400 million and they lose it all because they're not the type of person who can handle that money. So even if someone was given money and they still have that money, that means that they are the type of person who can handle that money. So if you don't have any money, it's because you are not the type of person who A, is capable of earning money and B, keeping money. If you are not in shape, it's because you are not the type of person who is able to acquire and maintain that body. It's nothing else. It's all a result of who it is that you are. And people want to blame everything but that. If you don't have a job, if you don't have employment or whatever, that's a result of who it is that you are, because you are not somebody who is employable or willing to go out and find a job. Either way, it's on you. Whatever it is. And you can always find a way, again, when you start taking accountability, to figure out, how is this because of me? And it might be difficult, but it's also the only thing that's going to help you, because you could go to a job interview and sit down and not get the job and say, well, they didn't hire me because I'm black, or they hired that white guy and this is his cousin, and they both went to Stanford or something together. But that doesn't help you, because you can't change the fact that you're black. You can change the fact that you speak like an idiot. You can change the fact that you didn't brush your hair. You can change the fact that your clothes are dirty. You could change a lot of these things. You could change the fact that you didn't answer questions. You could change the fact that you showed up late. So focus on the stuff that you can actually affect. And if you're honest with yourself, then you will realize you did not do everything perfectly and then get rejected. Because black people have jobs. How'd they get them?
Right.
Women have jobs. How'd they get them?
Right. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of really encouraging people to look at themselves from that standpoint, because it's like you can waste all of this time thinking about, oh, that other person is so lucky. I've had people tell me my whole life how lucky I am, and my best friend just laughs right next to me, because it's like, this girl's willing to get up and fucking be first one in, last one out. She's willing to do the hard thing every fucking time. She's willing to risk things and put things on the line, and when other people are watching TV, she's working a second side hustle, and just on and on, because I, came from a place where that was important to me. That was important to me, that I never had things that I couldn't do because of money, because of how I was raised. I used that as my fuel. didn't make excuses. I didn't say like, oh, I didn't go to college, so I don't this, or oh, I didn't get, this. It doesn't fucking matter. Oh, I was a teenage mom. Okay, and then what happened, right? Like, and then what happened to me is my absolute favorite, because when people give this whole like, oh my God, I'm da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and they're making excuses and all this stuff. My teenage daughters used to do this when they were teenagers years ago, and my husband would say, and then what happened? Because it's like, don't get twisted up in fucking whatever your story is. Don't get twisted up in the victimhood or the things that blocked you or the things, whatever. Then what are you going to fucking do about it? Where are you going to take a stand? Where are you going to say, I could do something different here? I am not the victim here. Maybe this door's shut. Okay, maybe there's an open window over here, right? Always looking for something. And teaching your kids, that's what we're supposed to be doing, not just settling for fucking mediocre lives that are filled with, ugh.
Yes.
I mean, that's true, though.
No, absolutely. And that's the and then what is a great question, because, again, focus on what it is that you can control. Maybe something happened, it wasn't your fault. Maybe I walk outside right now and get shot. Okay, cool. That's amazing. Yeah. But I don't have to lay there. I can do something. I can go to the hospital. I can figure something out to do. It's all about what it is that you do with what it is that comes your way, not what comes your way. And that's what makes you into who it is that you are. Like people are in a bad situation. Yeah, something fell upon you, whatever, but you chose to stay there. That is on you. Your house flooded, cool, but you chose to sit in the water. That was your choice. So you can make things into whatever it is that you would like to make them into. And then when people love to say the lucky thing, even if this is a thing, right? Even if something happened and I got in this situation because I got lucky, I was still where I was and qualified to capitalize on what it was that happened. Same thing for you, same thing for everybody. Like if Elon Musk walks up to the average person on the street and says, hey, if you could solve X problem for me, I'll give you $1 billion. Most people wouldn't be able to do it. But somebody does have that skill set. So they didn't get lucky. They were qualified and an opportunity presented itself. And people confuse those two things. But most people want opportunities, but they're not qualified for opportunities, which is why they don't get opportunities. Right.
No, it's when you realize that just by your choices, you're setting yourself up for the life that you lead. And when you really listen to that and you really think, like really get deep about that, you're leading the life that you set yourself up for. Like those choices that you made, whatever they are, all of those little choices, they matter. So when you say, oh, I don't want to do that, or I am going to do that, or whatever that is, that's powerful. Be real careful with how you're doing that shit, because you get to lead whatever life you want. Don't fucking bitch about it later of like, I'm not where I want to be. Okay. And then what happened?
I think that everybody is where they truly, truly want to be in life. Like people might have these little ideas in their head that they want to be in shape, or they want money, or they want a better job, or they want a better partner. But if you truly, truly wanted that, you would have it. Like you see people all the time who swear they don't have time to do anything, but they watch every single thing that comes out on Netflix. Yeah. There are people who swear they don't have money to start a business, but they have all of the pairs of Jordans. There are people who swear they want to be in a better relationship, but they go home to a partner that they hate every single day, because this is what you truly want, and you have it. Like I say, I use all the time, I used to smoke a lot of weed. I was broke at the time. All of my work money went towards paying my bills. But I found a way every single day to make sure that I got my weed that I was going to smoke, and the cigars to smoke it in, black them out, smoke with it, because that's what I truly wanted. And I made sure that I got it. And everyone does exactly that. Now, again, they might have fantasies or ideas in their head that they want these other things, but if you're not willing to go after something, you don't truly want it. Yeah. Well, and also just being able to really look at those things. Like, do I want to come home and get high every night? Or do I want to have these other things? Because it's an either or. But you can have those other things. You just have to be willing to make those decisions. Which most people are not, which is why they go with what they truly want. It's totally true. Most people would rather smoke weed than be successful. Most people would rather order DoorDash than be in shape. Most people would rather sleep in than make money. So true. And when you realize you're the one making that decision, for all of us, those listening, and for all of us, like the decisions that I make, that's what dictates the life that I'm going to live. If I'm making shitty decisions, 100%. It's like the same thing when you're talking about depression. You're doing depressing shit. Of course you're depressed. Like that. Of course you're depressed. Like that makes perfect sense. Like we've made it make sense. Like now figure out if that's actually what you want to be doing for stuff. I found later in life that I kind of have started turning life into a little bit of a game, because it's like I get whatever choices it is that I'm going to make, right? Obviously, you have to work for the things that you want. But when you watch all of those things just stack up and equal the life that you want, right? If I want to go over here and I want to have this, it's like, okay, what do I need to do? Logistically, what do I need to do to put in place to make that fucking happen? And then I do those things, and then I have whatever that is, right? Not necessarily materialistic stuff. I'm just talking about different directions of where you want to go.
it's just a fucking game, right? Like, why are we all so fucked up and taking everything so seriously and making all of this struggle? It's like all of that excuses and wallowing bullshit, and like, stop that. That's fucking terrible. Stop doing that.
It's a justification for people to not try, because exactly like you say, you can figure out exactly where it is that you want to go, exactly what it is that you want to do, then figure out the steps to get there and just take them.
Yeah.
But it's the taking the steps that people have a problem with. Like we said at the beginning, yes, it's hard to go to the gym and work out, relatively. But in the overall scheme of things, it's not really that hard. It's hard to make money and be successful, but in the overall scheme of things, not really. It's not that difficult. I spent actually a very, very large, when I first decided I was going to get my life together, I made it a very long way by kind of just half-assing my way forward. Because if you just do things, you will get things.
Yeah.
I didn't try that hard.
Right. Yeah.
But most people aren't even willing to do that. They don't even want to take the first step.
Yeah. That's a hard one, and I think a lot of people need a little bit of a slap in the face, which I hope is what your content does, to just be like, fuck, all right, I can do that. or you know, like, God, because it makes you feel a certain type of way, but in the best type of way. You know, for me, I appreciate being talked to like that, because that's, for me, I talk to myself like that.
Same.
On the time when I don't want to, I'm like, get your ass out of fucking bed. We're doing it. Same thing, right? Getting up at 4:30 in the morning, and it's like some mornings you just don't want to.
I don't want to fucking do that.
Tough shit. I like fucking looking in the mirror and seeing abs. So I'm going to go get out of bed and go do that shit.
1,000%.
Yeah. One of my pet peeves, and only because I did it for so long, was I don't have time for that. And then when I realized, like what you're talking about, go ahead and just do a count on how many hours of Netflix you watched. You know, for those people that have that, I don't have time for that. No, you didn't make time for that. And for me, when I changed that narrative, and I changed the way that I spoke about things, where I said, that's not important enough for me to make time for, because even Beyonce, even Oprah only gets 24 hours in a day. You get to choose what you do with that time. If you want to be sitting in front of the couch and fucking spending 4 hours a night watching TV, excellent, that's okay, but you're going to fucking get out what you put in, and just being, you know, accountable to that, and knowing that that's how that works. You know, that's how the math works.
Yeah, that's what you're trading your time in for mediocrity. But people get mad at the saying of we all have the same 24 hours, and then they want to fill that up with excuses. Well, some people have kids, some people have. Yeah. You are not too busy, period. Yeah. Like, I don't care what your life looks like, unless you work 2 8-hour jobs and a 4-hour job. No, you're not. Yeah. You are not too busy. Yeah. If you are saying that, you are a liar. And it's mostly people just not being willing to sacrifice their downtime or sacrifice their entertainment time, because they believe that that's a necessity. Like, some people are just not willing to stop watching TV. Yeah. No matter what. It's like, no, I watch TV at that time.
I'm actually blown away by how much TV people consume. I went and got my nails done the other day, and the gal's like, what are you watching right now? I'm like, well, I don't watch TV. And she's like, and then the whole salon just proceeded to talk about all of this stupid, shitty TV that they're watching. And I thought, like, I have one sad TV in my house and it never gets turned on. But my library's big, you know? My library's big. And so it's like, go ahead and just really get cued in on what that looks like. You know, how much time do you spend? If you spend 4 hours on your screen, like, get accountable. Look at your screen time on stuff. If you spend enough for a part-time fucking job, don't bitch to me about what you have going on. I'm not going to listen to you. You know, don't bitch to yourself. Yeah, that's the thing. People say they don't have time, but you know all of the gossip, you know everything that's going on Instagram, you know the trending topics, you know the shows, you know who's winning the sports games. And people look at me the exact same way. I don't watch any sports. Yeah. I have mad TVs in my house. I don't watch any of them. I sit on my laptop all day and I fucking go to work. So they just sit there collecting dust or whatever. Yeah. Because, but people, I think, get so invested, like we talked about at the beginning, in the TV shows and all that, because they don't have anything going on in their own lives. Yeah. So all they could do is get wrapped up in everyone else's life, and that makes them feel like they're actually doing something. Yeah. But it's just ways to cope with the fact that they're not. Yeah, do some main character energy shit, you know? Get out there and fucking live your life. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if there are people who watch people on YouTube shopping at Target, and if that's what you're really determined to do, okay, that's fine. That's your thing. But why not go to Target and record yourself shopping? Right. And then other people can watch that and you can make, like, if you're really into that, go do a thing. Yeah. If you really love podcasts, fucking start one. If you, whatever it is that you're watching, you can do. It's even to the point now, you could go out and make your own TV show and put it on YouTube on fucking iPhones and stuff. If you really love it that way, go do it. Yeah. Stop sitting on the couch watching other people. Stop watching other people. Yeah, write your own story. Yeah. Sitting at home commenting from behind the keyboard about other people's fucking lives. Go do like a fucking weirdo. Yeah. Go do something with your life that you wouldn't care. Stop being a fucking weirdo. Yeah, like you wouldn't care.
Here's the thing. If you wouldn't care what I or anybody else said if you were actually doing something with your life.
Yeah.
If what I was saying was not about you, you wouldn't care about it.
Yeah. Well, and I also think we live in this whole human experience is meant to like mirror back things, which is why I think that you're out, like your clips are outrageous to people and it sparks them in a certain kind of way, which again, I personally absolutely love. But I think you're supposed to mirror things back to other people of like, they get defensive. That's why they come back from that place, because they're trying to defend their excuses and trying to defend, well, like you said, somebody has an exception in there. There's no exceptions. There's no exceptions. And there's no fucking power in victimhood. So take your fucking power back.
I love that you said that. Yes, there are zero exceptions, because I will say something about whatever the case may be. If people are like, well, what about this extreme circumstance? I don't care.
No.
It's all the same.
It is.
At the end of the day, your past isn't happening. Your sadness isn't happening. It's all in your mind. It's all your thoughts. Your addiction is thoughts. Your depression. All of it's just your fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
And you lose to your thoughts every single day.
Yeah.
And that's what most people do.
And stop wasting time trying to come up with the exception. Just fucking open your eyes.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, just open your eyes. It doesn't even matter.
Not only this, though, but what people don't realize, when you go through all these mental gymnastics to try and find an exception to something, yes, I guess somebody who was born in Africa in the basement of a warlord who's a slave forever doesn't have control over their life. That's fine. That doesn't apply to you.
Right.
But when you go through all of these mental gymnastics to try and come up with this, all you're doing is convincing yourself that you can't try and get better. Like, you're fighting for your right to be a loser, which is absolutely insane to me. Right. I will say something, people are like, no, I'll be poor forever because I'm black, is essentially what they're saying. Right. Or no, my life will never be good because my childhood was sad and I'm gay. Like, why is this what you want? Why do you want to be right?
Right. You're fighting to be a loser. Like,
why? You win. That's the thing. People get mad. It's like, you realize that what I'm saying is the better thing.
Right.
Like, I'm saying the thing that's better for you.
Right.
I'm saying you can be better. You're like, no, I can't.
I love it. Jason, thank you so much for coming and spending time with me today and sharing your viewpoints on things. I absolutely adore your content. I think we need more of it. So
I very much appreciate it, and I appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So for everyone that's listening, that's our time for today. Please do all the things to support the pod. So that's it. Catch you next time.